Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespass, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Amen. Hello everyone. Welcome back to my channel. If you are new, my name is Melina Landrio. Thank you for sharing space with me today. Today is August the 26th, 2024. And today the energy in the world that was announced to me is something that is taking precedence in many people's lives in many forms. And as somebody who is reading the cards, I can only divulge from my personal experience, and I can entertain the understanding of it through the dynamics of which I have understood the dualities. And I'm being guided today to share some understandings and information that I became aware of in my morning readings. And I've been asked to share these with you. And I've been asked to also embark further from these readings. So I'm going to go ahead and share with you what came up today in an understanding of what is in the energy in present time for many of you. So this is a collective reading, and this is one that may resonate with you very deeply or in one way, shape, or form. All I ask is that you use your discernment moving forward, and you hold compassion and empathy for yourself as you embrace the information that is coming out into light and your particular standing within it. As we all stand within a structure, the structures that I illuminate today have many standing within a construct of structure. And it begins, well, maybe I should show you it like this first. It begins with the Four of Swords. Some form of understanding, some form of resolution, some sort of appeasement to an internal nature has evolved. And this has been influenced by the devil. So some sort of discord, some form of illumination, emotionally, mentally, physically, encompassing spirituality, has risen within the depths of one's containment. And it has led them into this dynamic of creation, a band-aid, if you will, some form of appeasement to their inner turmoil. And this was all stemming from the illumination of great wealth, great abundance, on a physical, on a mental, and on an emotional level, encompassed and held in spirituality. And this illuminated a Queen of Wands. And she was scoffed at in her pain, in her sorrow. What illuminated, or what was illuminated, was fire energy, was the fiery parts of this energy, the emotional construct, and the toying with the mental construct, the encompassment of who she is in the physical construct. And this was in the past. And that illumination of who she was that sparked multiple realms of understanding of her dynamic was sparked by the Ace of Discs. She seemed very blessed in her understandings. She had blessings upon her. How was she able to hold herself from all the past in this formation of what appears to be a blessing? Whether it be known or unknown is what we will come to understand. And this led to a future energy. So someone being led by inner turmoil, inner construct, emotionally, mentally, physically, of an experience and an understanding of a 10 of Pentacles, an understanding of wealth, of capacity, of enrichment. And this fueled this appeasement, this finding a balance, this finding some form of solution to help me be within a construct. All illuminating a Queen of Wands, and the Ace of Discs. And the future energy of this was the 9 of Discs. There are multiple layers and levels that are unseen at this time in this dynamic. There is this understanding of truce, led by devil, some form of influence of the devil, which leads me to believe inner turmoil. The card screams that to me. And it's not just turmoil on one level, no. It could never be that. It's always multiple levels. It's always of the mental capacity of one's experience and understanding a dynamic placed before them. The dynamic of 10 of Pentacles, perhaps. The dynamic of this Queen of Wands. And the dynamic of this Ace of Discs. Leading into the 9 of Discs. Commencing into the beginning of creation. This is blessings. This is being bestowed. Or perhaps maybe led by the emotions of it. Why do they get something and I don't? How is this fair? Or perhaps maybe the physical experience that arose from the emotions and the mental capacity of understanding it all. Maybe this inner trigger occurred, which illuminated a deep depth within that was one that was never meant to be touched. At least, not in this being's understanding of what is safe. The current energy became influence. Influencing through the appeasement of their discord, creating a form of illusion, masking a turmoil that's deep within them to create a construct that eases their palate and creates a ripple effect for the 10 of Pentacles, the Queen of Wands, the Ace of Discs, and her capacity to begin that journey with the 9 of Discs. And I say her because the energy does feel like a she. And also, as I mentioned, I'm going to be reading this reading from my understanding of depth. And this story feels very familiar to me, and I am born a woman. I'm going to move through, but however this story resonates with you, place it how it fits. Interfering energy. some form of alignment from start A to start B is now creating distortion, interference, disconnection for this Queen of Wands to be able to embrace this Knight of Pentacle energy that was ultimately hers. And this interference, this questioning, this current positioning is now in concern. Five of Discs. They're in concern for the amount of money that illuminated this construct. Did it seem fair? Did it unravel well? And I think also the illumination of what was given into this dynamic of interference for this Queen of Wands. Interference led by the devil energy. Some form of appeasement, some form of balance to be restored for whomever was led by the devil energy. And this had people understanding a depth of intuition and an emotional capacity rose. You see, something didn't fit quite right. After a momentum of time, this started to change. It seemed like there was perhaps all too much loss, reciprocity. Is that the right word? I think you know what I'm trying to say. I'm not going to attempt to say that word again. Reciprocity? An exchange that's fair. And their intuition guided them that something was not quite right. And this illuminated the Lovers. And at the top of the deck, there was victory. So a lot of interference, a lot of money, and some form of illumination has occurred for those who embarked on the interference. We have a Queen of Wands. We have the Lovers here. This could represent a form of self-love, self-worth, and this can also represent a pair of people. What's really illuminating are the union of people and also the union of two lineages under God's light. This is not a contractual relationship. This is a dynamic that was written in the stars. This was meant to transpire now. And I hear there's lots of questions to be had. I'm hearing there's lots of unknowns that were never questioned. There was lots of orders given, but never questioned. And I'm just going to move the cards over a moment. I'm going to pause my video to do that. Give me a moment. Okay, and I'm just going to place the top of the deck at the end here. So we have the beginning of an understanding of what has become on multiple layers and levels. We have someone who was triggered, and we have someone who made a choice, And this is a choice of construct. We often feel or think that we live our lives whole, that we live it fully in this 3D plane. But what we fail to understand is that when our loved ones pass, we seem to believe that that's the end. They're no longer here physically. But what I have come to understand and what I have come to know to be true is that our ancestors in spirit actually live fully and very much alive within each of our spirits. We tend to think that we make the decisions we make based on ourself, our own mind, our own understandings, our own emotions, our own physicalities, and our own mental thoughts. And yes, in some capacity we make the choice, but it is whom we devote into, who represents the opportunity as the giver of understanding. So who is your God? Who do you pray to? And if you don't pray to a God, or you don't believe in God, then whom are you placing your trust into? Whom is speaking into your ears, into your thoughts, into your emotions? Because there is definitely life between our existence and the veil of spirit. And dependent on how you believe, dependent on your structure in your beliefs and in your understanding of who you are, will depend on the information you are privy to. I know this to be true. When I get a decision, I'm crossed with an understanding of making a choice. You can either stay in this positioning, and this is how things will run, or you can move outward in this form of capacity, and this is what could happen. Or you can lead over into this form of understanding, and perhaps a deeper depth, a gruesome journey may prevail, but the fulfillment and the enrichment of one of these paths will structure more fruitfully for all. And I'm going to speak my message today through my God, the mighty high God, Elohim, the one who created this earth. And I'm going to speak from the first chapter of the Bible today. And if this may not be who you believe in, I ask that you please bear with me and just try to be open to information that you may not fully want to adhere to. Or maybe you fully understand this information. God created the earth. And I read Genesis chapter 1 today with my children. And what illuminated for me, I feel, is very in line with this reading. The word firmament, and I'm not sure if I'm saying that correctly, so bear with me, is the fixture, the encompassment that God creates to create some form of understanding of depth between two different understandings. For instance, when you look up firmament in the dictionary is what it means. The heavens and the sky, especially when regarded as a tangible thing. So it's looking at the sky and understanding its tangibility. It's looking at the heavens and understanding the depth of what that implies. That's a firmament. And there is a firmament in here in regards to belief structure, in regards to understanding a dynamic and making a choice from one's understanding. Somebody was influenced through an understanding of pain and suffering that they did not want to look at. Instead, they rose into the emotions of it And this created disconnection and interference for not just a Queen of Wands, but for, I feel, a multitude of people. And this multitude of people are now understanding a dynamic that has risen in the past by a Queen of Wands to be as truth. There's some form of illumination happening. And it's just like my understanding today when reading the first chapter of Genesis 1. God called light day and darkness night. The evening and the morning were the first day. And that challenged me in my thoughts and my understanding of what a day is. As I wake up in the morning, and that's my understanding of a new day. And we rise into the sun and the daylight and the midday brightness, and then into the depths of the light dimming, into the evening, into the night, and then midnight is the new day. It's still dark out. But in the Bible, it says that the darkness, the evening, and the morning were the first day, in that exact order. And that made me think and understand that there is a big importance to wake up in the morning and give thanks to God. And as you do that, your day has been completed and you now commence into the new day. And this was my understanding today. It was, there's been darkness and then morning, some sort of illumination is happening. And it's because of God that this is coming into light. This aligned very well with the understanding and the energy of this reading for me today. I hope this is making sense for you guys who are watching. So I'm going to move forward with the next part of what I am to share. I'm just going to put my book down 1 second here. Okay. So underneath the Four of Swords, there was a Three of Cups. And this tells me ritual. This tells me groups of three. This tells me celebration. Under the Four of Swords, the appeasement, the band-aid, if you will, the truce, and false reality. People celebrated in this understanding. People came together and performed rituals. This is what's illuminated with the Three of Cups today. It's about abundance as well, the Three of Cups, and what more abundance can you have than a Ten of Pentacles and an Ace of Discs? And underneath the Devil was a Ten of Wands. And this is really screaming spell work to me. Influenced by a spirituality component. We have the mental, we have the emotional, and we have the physicality, and all three encompass a spiritual form dependent on your belief system, this one being the Devil. The Devil, to me, screams spells, spell work. Ten of Wands screams burdens. It screams difficulties. And it's a culmination of difficulties. It's creating a form of overburden and refusal of helping one. It's the creation of something and the refusal of helping someone. And underneath the 10 of Pentacles, we have the 9 of Cups. And this is telling those who partook in creating a 10 of Wands structure that they'll get their wish fulfillments. They will be able to savor the 10 of Pentacles. They'll be able to savor this blessing. This 9 of Discs, there'll be plenty for everyone to share. This is celebration. Our lives have changed. How was this maintained? How was this created? To distort energy from somebody as something else. The reality of one into another. And we have the Ace of Wands. This is vitality. This is energy. This is a gift from the Mighty High. And this lands right underneath the Queen of Wands. But how could no one see her as this particular gift? This understanding that there was more to her than what was being met in the discord of another. And so from that structure grew a form of resourcefulness in the Magician, the Mage, right under Blessings. And this can be looked at in a multitude of ways. The reflection of who the Queen of Wands truly is at her core, then the belief structure that she embodies, and the understanding and reasoning of why is there a destiny of 10 of discs and a recent understanding of blessings and achievement, leading into fruitfulness of wish fulfillment. Somehow this was distorted and interfered with. And this can imply the Ace of Wands being perhaps she came to this earth as answered prayers. But the choice, the duality of these answered prayers were to be met with the proper choice to unlock the growth and understanding of whom this Queen of Wands truly was, to whomever crossed their path. And depending on the choice that was made in regards to her acceptance, is how the cards will fall. So again, revisiting the beginning of the video where I ask you to be compassionate and just hold space for the depth of how you stood in this energy. If this is resonating with you, maybe you're the Queen of Wands. And maybe you had opportunities come towards you in this lifetime. And maybe somebody interfered with you. Maybe you were painted in a not so loving light. And we have the devil energy as the influencing energy of the reading. And they are coming to a Four of Swords. Something has risen within them, whether emotionally, physically, mentally, regardless, encompassing spiritually. And they struggled with some form of understanding. And they struggled to make a choice that held accountability. Being that they dove into groups, celebrated on rituals, creating a 10 of Wands over a 9 of Cups, under the 10 of Pentacles. The 10 of Wands led by the influencing energy, the devil, and the 3 of Cups as the solution to the 4 of Swords. Let's create some form of interference. And under the wish fulfillment, a 10 of Swords. Magic. This is screaming tones of magic, tones of mishaps, tones of interfering energetic conspiracies. And underneath the interference, we have a Knight of Cups. And the Knight of Cups is somebody that charges through from their emotions. This Knight of Cups is very charming. This Knight of Cups is even seductive. They have emotional expression and capacity. And there's also some sort of disillusionment encompassing here as it's under the interference. Some sort of escapism leading from the Four of Swords. Escaping a reality that rose to their attention. Creating an emotional intensity within, and a need to fight, a need to charge, because of the choices that they made. And under the Five of Discs, we have the Page of Cups. Young students, young messengers, immature in growth, in capacity, in understanding, being swayed by the Five of Discs. Perhaps insecure. Perhaps in uncertain times. In hardship. Some form of self-restraint. And perhaps the celebratory tone of the Three of Cups in regards to hope, improving circumstances, overcoming the adversities of struggle. Perhaps this was the plan. and we have the Chariot. And this is underneath the Queen of Cups. And the Queen of Cups, to me, is some form of growth and understanding, some form of growth illuminated. And the Chariot being directly underneath this is telling me that this is spirit-led illumination. This is a construct that could no longer be held in the dark, and that it's time for the morning to rise. And on one spectrum, many of you will be grateful. And on another spectrum, many of you may have to sit in a moment of understanding a dynamic that you may have been led to play in. And this is no judgment. This is just what the cards are expressing to me today. And this is an understanding of depth. I'm going to put the light on here. Bear with me, guys. A little better. The Chariot is all about the self-discipline within us. It's this innate energy that we all come with. My belief in God and my understanding of how I am to be here is because God has created me. And my energy being here has God illuminated within my heart. And I believe we are all here for purpose. I believe we are all here for some form of dance and understanding and celebration and fulfillment. I don't really believe that anybody is owed more than another. I believe God wanted us all to be abundant in this world. And the world that I see before me is really showing a lot of duality these days. We're seeing a contrast in the world of power, a belief that one is more of importance than another, and a discard of somebody's complete energetic being because of this. We have been living in some sad times. And I think this is why this Queen of Cups is being illuminated. God is illuminating people's intuition, memories, bringing up understandings of a deeper depth, and giving people a choice. And this is where some that have joined in to interfere with this particular story, a Queen of Wands, some are being held within in questioning their actions, in questioning their understandings. It's almost like they woke up from some form of spell, the Magician, the Devil, 10 of Wands, 10 of Swords, Ace of Wands, 3 of Cups celebration. There's a lot at stake here. And the illumination, I believe the intuition, the emotional counterpart, it's leading with the emotions in understanding the whole dynamic. And they're being showed how, we are being showed how we play a part in our stories. This particular story led in the 3 of Swords. The outcome was to cause pain, was to cause heartache, was to disrupt somebody's foundation that was already filled with pain and sorrow, that was illuminated. Somebody's union, somebody's complete understanding of support shattered through a 3 of Swords. Lost, gone forever, beyond repair. And this is showing me the emotions of the Queen of Cups, an understanding of duality of our experiences. as we ruminate through our emotions of what we were told was hurtful. And understanding how it was hurtful. Being told something is hurtful and reflecting on the pain of it are two different experiences and understandings. Many today look outside of ourselves for an understanding. Many fear going within, or they've forgotten completely how to do so. And at the top of my deck, at the base of this side of the reading, is the Two of Pentacles. So there was exchange for victory, is what this is looking like. I want to clarify some energies here. And this is what I opened up my understandings with today, was these two readings simultaneously from each other. And I'm going to go one more past. But first, some understandings. I did clarify the 10 of Wands, and it came up with the Knight of Cups. And the Knight of Cups is here under interference. And under the Devil is the 10 of Wands, and that's what I wanted to clarify. So the 10 of Wands was interfered by a Knight of Cups, somebody in their emotions, and they interfered with the 10 of Swords in reverse. And that clarified to me the experience of what the Queen of Wands triggered within them. And I'm not saying the Queen of Wands did this maliciously. I'm saying the Queen of Wands' mere existence triggered someone's inner pain, which was a 10 of Swords pain. Some big, deep conflict. Something that could have killed them. The trigger is the opportunity to let go. The opportunity to understand the relief in the detachment from it. It's the understanding of the prolonged suffering they have lived and the refusing to give up. The 10 of Swords is about surrendering, closure, defeat, transformation. And in the reverse, it tells me that there was triggering. And this was also, where is it here? What was underneath in the upright for the 9 of Discs, which is the joy fulfillment. Or 9 of Discs, sorry, not the joy fulfillment. Which is the success from the discipline, from the resiliency. It's rewards. An opportunity to create, to gain. So I want to clarify, we've clarified now that there's a Knight of Cups influencing, and now underneath the Devil, that clarifies that card for me. I want to clarify the Queen of Wands. Clarify the Queen of Wands, please. So we have a 4 of Cups in reverse. Somebody who has become indifferent. And through self-reflection has become dissatisfied in a circumstance. Okay. Anything more for the Queen of Wands? Clarifying. a new journey. The Fool. A chance to start new. This Queen of Wands was given a chance to start new because they felt dissatisfied. They felt unheard, unseen. The reciprocation wasn't there in some form of existence between this devil type energy and whom they are. This Three of Cups experience as well is somehow affiliated. Clarify the Three of Cups. Clarify the Queen of Cups. Those are celebrated. Got a Nine of Pentacles again. Ace of Wands in reverse is clarifying the Three of Cups. So the Ace of Wands being the ultimate spark from God in reverse is showing some form of fatigue, some sort of creative block or misalignment in opportunity. So that is telling me there is some distortion in the message to gain this Three of Cups experience over the Nine of Pentacles, which is reflecting again here. And because that choice was made, the spark, creative spark, is reversed. So they were told that they would gain this spark, this creative juice, whatever this was. Actually, I'm going to put these underneath the cards. So the Ten of Wands is the Knight of Cups crossed with the Ten of Swords reversed. And the Three of Cups is the Nine of Pentacles with the Ace of Wands reversed. I hope you could see that. That is definitely clarifying the understanding of the energy that I'm feeling today. There's some form of discord in the energy from one point to another point, creating some form of delusion that has occurred. Then this definitely seems familiar to me in some ways. Maybe it feels familiar to you as well. Let's see here. Clarify the Lovers. We have a Queen of Pentacles. So this could be a Queen of Pentacles that is you one more for the Queen of Pentacles. Three of Cups. So what this is telling me about this particular card is the Queen of Pentacles also aligned with the Three of Cups. In this deck, the Queen of Pentacles is a person of power or affluence. So the Lovers is representing someone of power, of affluence, being a Queen of Pentacles. The fact that we have the Ten of Pentacles and the blessings and then the Nine of Discs as well is fitting. So I'm feeling like the Queen of Wands and the Queen of Pentacles could be in relation. Also, the Three of Cups in this particular deck is the conclusion of every matter in abundance. Like I said, this is being illuminated. We have the Chariot here illuminating things. There's going to be a conclusion. This has to come to an end. This is a facade. There's a facade going on here in some form of a structure, and it's multiple facades of some form of existence that's needing to come into illumination because it's not in balance or in harmony with the world's with God's wishes for this world, is how this feels. The Three of Cups also being like a happy ending, a victory. And we also have the victory card here as well. This is relief and healing too. So yeah, this is telling me this is affiliated with the Queen of Wands. Clarify the connection of the Queen of Wands and the Queen of Pentacles. Seven of Pentacles in reverse. The Seven of Pentacles in the upright is a card that's about business and exchange, and it's reaping the result of one's own work. In the reverse, this is telling me that they did not reap the results of any work, that there was no business exchange, they were not a part of it. That there was no effort played. So they sound, if that's the confirmation between the two, one more for this. Page of Wands in reverse. That tells me interference. Somebody who is lacking passion. It's like there's no fire under the butt. It feels like this is... I feel like there needs to be one more card to clarify this. Oh, okay, we'll have two more. Three more. Okay, so I feel like these two came first, so I'm going to take these two first. Five of Pentacles, Six of Cups, High Priestess. Okay. This is an endurement of battle that has gone on here. Let's see here. So there's no effort, no exchange in business as the Seven of Pentacles in reverse. The Page of Wands in reverse is somebody who is in doubt, they are in fear of the unknown, they have unfocused energy. This is also telling me it's a student as well. Perhaps acting impulsively to create some form of Five of Pentacles. Some sort of destitute for a High Priestess. And I feel like the High Priestess is representing these two cards. I feel like they're affiliated. I hear yes. But place it how it fits. Because the Queen of Pentacles here is somebody that's of power and affluence. And this Queen of Wands obviously held some form of positioning of power or affluence to create some form of distortion for somebody who was in devil energy, who was triggered by a form of Ten of Swords in reverse that was illuminated by this Queen of Wands, whether knowingly or unknowingly. Sometimes how can I explain this? Sometimes we entertain in our lives, in our experiences with others. And we are met with people who have gone through so much, and it's just difficult for us to understand how they can even be in the structure that they're holding in regards to what they've been through. It's like seeing somebody who's been through so much, yet they're still smiling and they're still standing, and you're wondering, how are they doing this, right? Some people can't fathom how they're doing it, especially if there is an illumination of a mirror The fact that there's a 10 of swords in reverse here and a 10 of swords offered in the upright is telling me there's some form of delusionment here. And the devil energy for sure describes that. The fact that there's a 4 of swords that's being influenced by this. This is some form of appeasement, some form of help me deal with this structure of this reverse 10 of swords that's being illuminated within me, this pain that I have that's being pulled up out of me in regards to this past experience of a Queen of Wands. And that is has the Ace of Wands underneath it, which is a spark from God. That tells me this person has been heaven sent. This is an answered prayer. We have people in our lives that we meet on the daily that answer our prayers, and it's up to us to see them, to experience them in the energy that they're offering. And it comes in the most noticeable ways sometimes. It could be just walking by somebody who is sitting in homelessness. And a lot of people treat people who are homeless very ignorantly and very rudely. And you don't know what earth angel you are walking by when you are spitting on them. And I've seen people spit on homeless people. I know people do this, who are treating them like they're dirt beneath their feet and not seeing the human being that they are. And this is what this is showing me. This is kind of how this feels, this energy. And I feel like the Queen of Wands and the Queen of Pentacles are of the same. And the High Priestess being here is somebody that has high intuition, high understanding, high clarity on things, and can be a cultivation of multiple queens as well. Somebody who has lived. The fact that there's 2 cards here are 2 constructs. Somebody who's gone through the grunt of it to become somebody in the understandings of their dynamic, because they have lived circumstances. I'm not sure if I have mentioned this, but the 3 of Cups in this particular deck is, I think I did mention this, is the conclusion of every matter. It's like coming into clarity to bring a happy ending and a victory, some relief and healing for this High Priestess, for this Queen of Wands, for this Queen of Pentacles. And this is bringing up a deep well of inspiration within the Page of Cups. The Page of Cups being a student wanting to broaden their intuition to perhaps a Queen of Cups stance. And this intuition is now rising for them to understand a dynamic of how they have played in a circumstance to create some form of 5 of Discs circumstance for somebody else, perhaps for themselves. This is an interference. And maybe they're starting to see that they're not necessarily making what they were told they would be bestowed with this 9 of Discs. This joy, I keep thinking wish fulfillment, but this is creative energy. This is a spark to create with. This is on the way to creating wealth, abundance, skills. I hope this is making sense to somebody out there, because this message is not just for one. This is for a multitude of people. And this is not to shame or to spread judgment. If you are somebody who's feeling triggered by this, just be in the moment of what that is and understand there is a deeper undertone within that illumination. My main point for my readings is to offer some form of healing structure. I have learned through my personal teachings, my personal life experience, a lot of healing. I've had to. I had choices to make. I could either continue the cycle and be the alcoholic, or the arrogant, or the emotional, or the distraught person that I was witnessing in my circumstances. The avoidance, the disconnection. It's like a facade of a mask. I could have learned and grown within many constructs of this type of deliverance. I chose to do what was excruciating, which was going against the grain. And I'm sure that in my family was very difficult to experience, because most would not go through the other side the way I have decided to find my healing. So this is telling me that this multiple tones of energy here are about choice. because this is what this is illuminating within my own personal structure. It's my choice to not be a bitch. It's my choice to try to do better by another. It's my choice to pull myself up and beyond out of my own construct to help somebody else. And I have often been misunderstood in my energy because I trigger many. And that's the beauty and the gift of being triggered by another. The beauty of it is an understanding is the gift. Oh, I'm triggered all of a sudden. I'm becoming angry or furious with what you're saying. You're pissing me off. This is the trigger. This is the understanding. And it's taking it a step further and diving into the construct of what that is. Speak to God. This has been my most pivotal understanding when I have this. And I often find myself pushing away in these circumstances because you feel deep shame when you have these experiences where you're triggered, where you've behaved a certain way, or you've not understand a predicament that you're in. But it's in those moments you really need to push yourself towards God, and you need to talk to God from the heart. Look, I feel like I am envious of this, or I am jealous of this, or I wish, why can't I have this? And just really having your temper tantrum out with God. Because that's what it is. It's a child within you having a temper tantrum. And if you're not willing to look at that structure and have the conversation with the most impactful being that you could have this conversation with, which is God, if you cannot even hold that structure, then you are going to make a choice, and you're going to have to be very understanding in the development of what occurs. Because if you're not going to turn towards the light of somebody who created you and knows you, because you were created of their visions, of their understandings, if you're going to turn away from that light, you may be met with the devil. You may be met with conflict from the devil, because the devil energy is what really does like to pull the wool over your eyes and create some form of distortion, just sweet enough for you to buy it. Let's just place these back in and get on to the next round. Sometimes I channel, and a lot of this is channeled. I don't necessarily recall what I'm saying, and I have to get to a point where I'm like, okay, that's enough, because I feel like I'm going on a tangent. And this is just how the energy flows, and it tells me it's my indicator to move on to the next round. Enough, Milena. You've said just enough. And so I'm going to be obedient and do so. Now, what cards am I going to use in the next round? I am being drawn to pull cards that are not making any sense to me right now, and I'm going to be obedient and do so. So we have a structure. You guys are very aware of the structure. We've gone through it. And I'm being guided to take from my beloved Dead deck, which is a beautiful deck. If you don't have it, I highly recommend that you check it out. I really love this deck, especially if you're someone who's a medium, or connect with the deceased loved ones in your life, or just want to connect deeper. I do find this book, this deck, fascinating, the way it dances with my spirit. You might find that too. So I wanted to give a shout out to this beautiful deck. I just love it. It's humorous, it's deep, it's enriched in a multitude of ways. So my beloved Dead deck, what do you want to tell me? How do you want to transpire this message going forward? Okay, I'm going to take these cards away. I'm going to pause it while I do so, and then we'll get started with the beloved dead deck. Okay, guys, thanks for the patience. I just feel instead of keeping it going and wasting time while I'm trying to clean up, to make it look more appealing and understanding and not so confusing, it's just best to sometimes pause it. Sometimes we need to take a pause in our emotions and our understanding of things and just breathe. So yeah, this deck is calling to me. I'm not really sure what is going to come from here because it's different from what I was understanding we were going to do, but Spirit does like to keep me on my toes, as I'm sure many of you can understand and appreciate the way our ancestors work with us. They like to illuminate things in a fun manner at times, a joyful manner, if you will. I do feel quite joyful in reading this reading. Okay. So, my beautiful, loved ancestors, what you want us to know today about this understanding, this depth, the multitude of places that people have stood or stand in some form of a dynamic. We are all one. I just heard. We are all one. It doesn't matter what side you choose to be. It matters how you move forward from it. We all make mistakes. We all create discord and imbalance at times. We've all done it. We all do it. And we must learn and move forward from these dynamics. And I think this is what's going to come forward here in the next part of this message. So what are we going to learn from these dynamics? Where are we going with this? Oh dear, a lot apparently. There's a card that came upside and I'm going to grab that card versus the rest of them. Just want to make sure that these are all upright. So we have self-preservation. So it's a story of illumination of self-preservation. Sorry, I should bring this closer. Aren't these beautiful cards? So an act of love, self-preservation. So the act of love of self-preservation, okay? Anything more? Two more, okay? Some of you may be feeling or have been feeling some form of constriction in your lives. Something that even has created some form of standstill, if you will. A moment to reflect, a moment of peace. Something has illuminated for you that has brought some form of construct to the surface. Maybe this is pertaining to self-preservation, how you've had to self-preserve through a circumstance, or how the need of self-preservation is going to guide you moving forward. And being showed tightness and restriction in movement. Perhaps the way you moved before has changed drastically to now. Or perhaps something is changing and you sense, or you cannot sense the movement, some form of restriction again. It's a form of self-preservation through a circumstance. How come these cards are taking so long to get there? Maybe we're taking too long. Maybe we're just sitting and reflecting. Maybe it feels like it's taking forever. This self-preservation, this construct of being stuck. Feels like the movement is stuck, some form of stuck. It's like the other day we were gardening. We were fixing our home plants. Some of them have just really outgrown their containers. And I was sitting and replanting some of the ones I've just grown from babies in the plant, or just plant stems that fell off. I've been regrowing them for a period of time, and they were up for time for being placed into a beautiful pot. And where am I going with this? Yes, so I took the whole morning, afternoon. I even had a form of injury occur while doing so. You know, as you age, the simple bending of picking up a tissue can hurt yourself. So there's a form of restriction that occurred for me. And what happened was one of the pots had fallen into the sink, and everything I put together fell. And it was like all the hard work I put into it in that one little pot that fell and threw all its soil into the sink just created this movement in me, this energy, this anger that fueled out of me because I hurt myself. And also I worked so hard and I just didn't want to do it anymore. I was done. I had finished. And it was like all of a sudden, no, but you're not done, honey. And, you know, the emotion or the mental thoughts or the physical experience of it all is spiritually what brought up this form of self-preservation. From that moment of that anger that would trickle, that fueled through emotions, spiraled out of control into the dirt in my sink that was now going to block my drain. And this is, I feel, what the self-preservation could be. It could be this form of blockage that's within you that is waiting to unplug. It's like it's going to be unplugged. And I think what's illuminating to me right now is the Queen of Cups and the with the Chariot card underneath it. And what's illuminating to me is it's like this plug has no way to continue its plugging. Like this whatever this experience is that's in your way at this time, whether you've just gone through it and you're needing to self-preserve from it, like a bit of anger and emotion, and then, oh my God, all this work and look what happened, you know, that type of an experience. And then all of a sudden you're dealt with the illumination of how you dealt with it. And okay, well, obviously I need to deal with something here, right? It could be that you've gone through something that's illuminated some form of a mental thought and emotion and a construct of some sort, right? Where you have to self-preserve from, or you are brought in alignment from a form of construct that has occurred and the understanding that you've been self-preserving. It could be one of the two, I feel, is what's coming up here. These cards are slow, like a slow locomotive taken off. That's how this is feeling. I'm seeing this steam train, is it a steam train? Like an old-fashioned charcoal. What do we have? It's in reverse. Some vanity is coming up. I'm not sure about these cards being taken in reverse or not, but it did fall in reverse. We'll keep that in mind when we read it. Maybe there's going to be some form of an illumination. So we have 3 cards. So we have the self-preservation and we have the vanity. And what's the last card you want me to pull? They said 3 cards. And an expectation. I just love these cards. They're full of character. I really enjoy these cards a lot. Hardship at the bottom. So we'll leave that. Oh yeah, place it there, they said. Okay, so I'm going to put the vanity card up like so. We'll place the hardship underneath it. Okay, now where are we going from here, Spirit? What do you want me to do here? Open up the book. Okay, guys, I'm going to pause it while I get the book open.